Some huge performances, but none better than Julian Wilson. He looked really sharp. A heat score total of 18.77. And you're going to break down his approach here at Jeffreys Bay and give us some insight on how he gets that amazing speed and uses that good bottom turn to great effect on these long walls.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, I think the great thing is we're going to just pause it right here for a second. What I want to pinpoint out here is, you know, first of all, there wasn't a whole lot of consistency, so it made some of the surfers nervous before they stood up, but not the case for Julian. When he had two of those great waves yesterday, he totally optimized his potential. So one of the things that everyone loves about J-Bay is how long the walls are. I mean, it gives you so much time and space to do what you want, so you can be creative, but the scary thing as a surfer is you can over surf it or under surf it and you just start getting heady. So you want to potentially just look like it's all going to plan and not overthink it. So I think one of the things that Julian does so well, as we will push it forward here, is he compresses really low on his bottom turns. So as we go through his first two setup snaps, Ronnie, you're going to see that he's kind of setting the pace. So right here, you know, he's trying to make sure he doesn't go under or over as far as speed goes. But what Julian does so well is he gets extremely low on all his bottom turns. So first two maneuvers are nice, Ronnie, but really he's just trying to keep his focus down the line to set the pace. But if we pause it right here, I want you guys to really pay attention to, this is one of the secrets to J-Bay. A lot of the surfers will get very high. And the reason for that, Ronnie, is that they want to get that speed for their next maneuver. So they'll get extremely high right on this kind of underneath this lip line. It's got a ton of torque right here. And so he's going to get really high so that he can utilize sort of that ramp and get all that speed and shoot him into his next maneuver.
This might be the most important turn at J-Bay, even though it doesn't get you any points. If you have this move on lock, this line, this high line, you're going to surf with a lot of speed, and that's what Julian showed yesterday.
Right here, I mean, look at that. The lip is almost touching him in his stomach, so that's how high he gets. He's even going to get a little higher. And again, you can see his focus right here. He's looking way down the line, so he's going to utilize that high line just to get speed so that he can fly into his next move.
What's the danger in going for a speed line like that and such a cupped out face?
Well, that's exactly it. What you just mentioned, there's all that transition right there. So he's actually so high that he's risking that lip actually hit him in the chest, and he can fall over and catch that outside rail. So it is a little bit risky. And keep in mind, he is flying down the line. So it's kind of like you got to squeeze up there. But now, because he got all that height, he can fly down the cup of the wave and get that speed.
We know that J-Bay is all about managing your speed and picking your moments very carefully. Julian read this wave so well. His pace was fantastic, but he also changed up his approach to the lip at different stages throughout this ride by shortening his bottom turn at different points.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, you know, he had the opportunity right here. He's going to get... the wave finally slows down for him just a little bit, so he's going to change it up. He's going to have that variety. So the first two maneuvers, he had snaps. Now he's got a little more space. You can see it's a little bit softer, so he's going to have that approach where he can actually open up his body and do a kind of a different move rather than those snaps.
So in this maneuver, though, even though this wave has slowed up a little bit, Julian cuts this turn a little short. What's he trying to achieve coming out of this move?
Well, again, so... right there you see his focus. Again, he's looking down the line. So because he sees that there's a lot of opportunity coming up, he doesn't want to put too much energy and focus on this turn. He has to be patient and you know, not burn through all his energy on one move. And because again, J-Bay is so long, and that was really smart. He cut that turn a little short, and to, you know, make sure that he finishes this wave off.
One thing that you and I were talking about a little bit throughout the day yesterday was surfers that were able to make points out of transition maneuvers, and Julian did that beautifully on that occasion.
Okay, let's stop right here. Now this is cool, Ronnie. Look at, again, one of the best bottom turns in the business. And so physically, I think it's really cool to just look at his back and how low he gets to the water. Now there's a couple of things he's accomplishing. He's physically, he's getting that torque because he's so low. You know, he can use his body to kind of spring in to that maneuver. So not only is it, you know, functional for the turn he's doing right here, but he's going to coil up and get to that lip where he wants to hit by getting that low to the water.
Julian just hangs on his bottom turns longer than probably any other surfer on the championship tour. It gives him a lot of options when he's actually in that crouch position, holding that line through that unique maneuver.
There it is again. So super low, again coiled up, and now this is let's stop it right here. This is actually pretty cool. This is his most open turn he does in his wave. Everything's so fast and down the line that he's kind of pegging it and going down the line and keeping that momentum and projection. But this is actually where the wave slowed down. So in terms of his body, this is the one turn where he actually kind of opened up his shoulders and kind of got out of his way. So as he gets to the second half of this turn, you're going to see him kind of get some space right here that he can release the turn and kind of coil out of it. A little wider arc than those snaps.
His most committed turn on this ride for sure, and you can see he lays a really deep track. That's always a pretty good indication, Ross, of how much power is in a manoeuvre.
Yeah, so I love what you just brought up, Ronnie. So there's that really crazy track that he just threw down right there, so just splitting the ocean in half, and then there's that space he gave himself right there, kind of opening up the body so that he can turn around his waist. Perfect technique from Julian.
Whips his board out of this manoeuvre, still carrying a lot of speed at this point, so obviously has a magic board under his feet, but just finishing off his turns really well and make sure he has enough momentum to get to this end section and let go of something special to finish.
So now at this point, as we keep moving forward, he's going to finish this wave off. Okay, let's stop right here. So the wave is closing out. We've finally reached the bricks, and he has to just put this wave to bed. He's got the judge's attention, so just finish clean. Here's the tricky part, Ronnie. You can see the wind is honking right here. It's so offshore. It's really dangerous to put your board too high on the lip line, and it can blow your board out the back. With all that wind pushing your body and your board, you can lose traction. Then it's cool if you do a tail slide, but that's not what we want to do here. He wants to firmly put that board on this tiny piece of lip right here to get that projection to kind of pin that move and finish that wave off neatly.
So hard to do. Julian obviously has those fin release snaps, but with that wind, we saw so many surfers come unstuck, but he just pegs that move beautifully, gets a little under it, and easily stamps it. It was a big score, a 917, his first wave of the event.
Yeah, so he just got that perfect feedback on that lip and kind of pegged it and came off it with all that projection. You can see how content he is right there. He's like, I just did about 8 moves, and everything came perfectly to plan for Julian, and nothing seemed manufactured. It just kind of naturally unfolded.
Julian was in a great position this time last year. He's in 15th on the ratings. Medina went from 20th into title contention by the last event. I'm backing him for a strong finish here. We'll find out if he can get the job done when he surfs again in the third round.